Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the June 3rd, 2026 business meeting of the Daytona Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. We are happy to have you with us this evening. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Paris?
Here.
Commissioner Strickland?
Here.
Commissioner May?
Here.
Commissioner Cantu?
Here.
Vice Mayor Henry?
Present.
Chair Derek L. Henry.
Motion to excuse Mayor Henry from this meeting.
Second.
We will now have we have a motion by have a motion by Commissioner Reed and a second by, was that
Commissioner May.
Commissioner May? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same size. Motion passes 6-0. We will now have invocation led by Commissioner Reed. We'll now have invocation led by Commissioner Strickland.
Okay.
And then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Reed.
Heavenly Father, we just ask that you watch over this meeting as we do the business of the residents of Daytona Beach. Help us to make the right decisions. Help us to do the right thing as far as others go. Help us to do everything that is your will, not our will, Lord. We ask that you bless all our tourists, everyone who's in our city today. Watch over what we do going forward as we try to improve our city and become one of the best cities in the Southeast. We ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for approval of minutes, there are no minutes to approve on this agenda. They will be presented at the next regular Community Redevelopment Agency.
Okay. We will now move on to item number 5, agenda approval. If there, if there are any changes, the city manager will read them at this time.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we have item for 6A. We've provided the Campbell Hotel Dean O'Brien response and coming together response. We've added addendum 7A, redevelopment and neighborhood services 2026 City Commission CRA priorities.
I would like to table 7A that was just walked on the agenda today. I've had many phone calls from businesses and residents alike that are very upset that this was put on at the last minute and they don't have a chance to come to this commission meeting. Plus, we discussed this at a commission meeting as well, that our businesses need to be informed, and they had a meeting, I think, recently. Am I correct on that? Am I correct on that, Mr. Feature? Main Street businesses
Yes,
had a meeting.
they did
Okay,
recently.
and that meeting, they're supposed to come back, who is it, the contractors? Or that we hired?
The consultants will be coming back
Consultants, okay.
from, I think, based off the recommendations that came before the Main Street Board merchants.
Okay.
And David Waller will be bringing that information back to you all at a later time.
Okay, because we are not prepared without the residents, and this is something the businesses and residents get very aggravated about. This is because stuff is put on the agenda the last minute and they have no warning, and we should not sit up here and actually approve priorities without hearing it from our residents.
If I'm not mistaken, we asked for this to be in this meeting. And although it was just walked on, I think they're trying to meet what we've asked for.
No, at the last, I think
I think Paris has been asking for this for a
but
couple of
I think-
meetings.
I think Commissioner Paris has asked for it, but we actually, I think, was it the last commission meeting or the commission, was it the last commissioner meeting? It was the last commissioner meeting. We actually discussed where they would have a meeting with the businesses so we can hear what the businesses have to say about this.
I think the businesses was for the Main Street streetscape. Was it for the entire?
Right, but the Main Street is on here and the blue CRA is on here. And I shouldn't have to sit and approve something at the last minute. It was just put on the agenda.
I agree.
Is this for approval or just for review?
It is for ratification. You all received it back in March, made the proposals, but I do understand the concern because you all did change in reference to the Main Street board to not move it forward. So it's not something that has to be moved directly right now. It's up to you all as commissioners, but as you stated, it was requested, even though the priorities may change based off of the community meetings that were just held for Main Street merchants.
And are you all right with it being tabled?
I'm fine with that.
Are you making a motion?
I'm making the motion, yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Cantu and a second by Commissioner Paris to table this. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Madam Vice Chair, just for the record, I didn't receive that email that was sent on May 20th. I just got it, I think either today or yesterday.
What email are you referring to?
With the CRA priorities. The city manager forwarded it to me, but I wasn't on the initial email on May 20th.
Okay. Okay.
We need a separate motion to approve the agenda. Ben?
No, I mean, this item's been tabled,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think it's all there is a presentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. With those changes, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I think we already did.
We don't need to, all there is a presentation.
Oh, all we have is a presentation tonight? Okay. We will now move on to the presentation.
Ken Thomas, Redevelopment Director. I just want to give a brief history while we sitting and waiting prepared for our presentation to be held tonight. Madam Chair, City Commission, City Manager, the Campbell Hotel development, which was built in 1950, back in September of last year, staff came before you to request a demo of the building. And doing that presentation, or at least request, there were several members of the community who asked the city to consider saving the building. And you all agreed to do that. And we gave them a 90-day reprieve to go out, and you direct the staff to go out and solicit different companies to consider redeveloping the Campbell Hotel. As a result, we received 4 proposals locally from individuals who wanted to redevelop the site. And just recently, the commission asked that we invite those proposals to make a presentation tonight. 2 of the 4 agreed to, and the other 2 decided that they were no longer interested. And so tonight, the 2 individuals will give you their plans to redevelop the site. And first up is Sharon Hawkins and Coming Together, and will be followed by Dean O'Brien with 06 Marketing LLC. That's the second one. Yeah. Ms. Hawkins.
Good evening, everyone. I would just take this opportunity to thank the Lord for giving me an opportunity to be able to do something that's in His will that He called on me, because trust me, I didn't want to be here. But I grew up in this area, in Midtown. I never left. But by the grace of God, I'm in a position where I can provide capital for businesses as long as their documentations are in place. I would like the opportunity to take on the full responsibility of Midtown as far as opening up a floodgate of capital, because I do understand that Midtown is a red zone and the banks don't like it. So if that's the case, we're not asking. We got our own money. So I'm thankful to be in this position. I'm born and raised in Daytona Beach, and I would like the responsibility of saving the Campbell Hotel. We have an agenda to create economics against violence. The reason why the violence is rampant, it's just capital, right? Let's just be honest. Everything is capital. So we want to give the youth or those who are not trained, who want training, to have the opportunity to learn financial literacy, paired with a fresh bakery, subleasing to businesses that for like entrepreneurs who want to rent the office out. We will have spaces, office spaces that'll be hourly rented. We will do seminars, courses for all adults that want to take these courses and take the opportunity to learn financial literacy. And I'm sorry, I started the wrong way. I want to say I'm proud of everybody who sits up here. This responsibility ain't easy. But I'm gonna just say they talked about Jesus. So we have the opportunity. I don't need that, bro. I come from a place what they talk about. I'm the one they write off. I'm the one who they don't want to get an opportunity. I'm what they scared of. So you put your money up, they can't tell you no, right? I got the vision, I got the money. I'm not asking you for nothing, I just want a fair price. Let's just keep it reasonable. If not, donate it to the nonprofit, you write it off, get whatever to the maximum dollar you can get, and give me an opportunity to do something for the youth, man. I ain't really asking, man. I got my own money. I just want an opportunity, bro. I'm from this area, man. I ain't supposed to be here. Y'all understand what I'm telling you. I don't know this side of the room, but for the most part, on this gentleman here, Mr. Cross, but for the most part, everybody has seen me. I stay out the way. Don't nobody know what I do. Don't nobody know what I'm capable of. But I can find and pass the highest level of background checks. I'm here on a higher purpose. God got a calling on my life, and I have a very, very good life. So trust me, this wasn't my fight. I wasn't supposed to be here. So I'm tired of all the talking, man. Let's do something for the people. Just give me a shot. Let me get that hotel, man. It's our money, man. If we miss, we miss. I'm willing to bet on it, though. But everything that we're gonna do there is gonna be for the community, right? We can do healthy food. We can feed our families. We can show them how to make their own money, man. When I was growing up, I ain't had nobody tell me how to do anything. Everybody always wanna say, get your life together, but nobody tell you how to get there. And I don't know how much time I got, but I'm gonna get this off my chest. We have to take accountability. When we get to a certain point as human beings, it is our natural God-given responsibility to reach back. Now granted, economics it's all a distraction, right? So if we go back to sincerity, why you guys took these seats, and let's really do something that's meaningful for the heart, hey, I'm with it, man. I'll run through any wall for one of y'all, man, as long as y'all doing the right thing. But just give a young black man an opportunity. If I drop the ball, man, hey, we can write it off. But everything that we're gonna do is all about the community, right? So we can do courses, we can do healthy cooking, we can do baked goods on a regular basis, and we can also fuel the entrepreneurial mindset in this area. And we just ask for an opportunity.
I have a
Have
question.
anything to say? Go ahead, Ms. Cantu. It's a pleasure seeing you this evening.
Okay. Damian, I know you. I know your brother, Darmian, your twin. But what I'm trying to find out, are you wanting to buy the property? Is that what you're saying?
That was always on the table. The problem was it's being overcharged. So it makes me feel like I'm being squeezed out without an opportunity. If it's a fair price, it's a fair price. I've never done real estate before in my life. I've never even really want to pull back into the youth because they're too hard hit.
So how do you know it's not a fair price?
Well, somebody told me what the price was. I mean, not really what the price was, but what they paid for it. So what they paid for it, doesn't that mean that's the price?
Okay, have you actually talked to anybody in the redevelopment?
Not personally, not about this. What I've heard is they were seeking what they paid for, which was $300,000.
Okay.
All I'm asking.
I actually think, I'm not trying to just be
Go ahead.
disrespectful.
I'm
I
sorry.
actually think you need to call and set up an appointment and sit down and talk to them and see what you guys can accomplish and how much they're asking for the building and what you want to do.
And look at the specs for the building.
So just for me to be honest, what is the city's plan to do with it? Just knock it down?
No,
There
no,
hasn't been a decision yet.
there hasn't been a decision. That's what we're working on right now.
Idea, like, I can only be honest to my own life, right? This is what I've heard.
That's why you.
This
have
is
to
what I've heard.
That's why you have to talk to them. Then they come back to us and let us know the offers, and then we make decisions.
Yeah.
But
Honestly speaking, Mrs. Cantu, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be down here wasting my time if I was paddling my feet. I promise I would. I had better things to do. And, I just wanted to take this opportunity to be honest to my true life. This is my life.
right, and I completely understand what you're saying, but there's a process, and that you need to go through that process because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know if you want to buy it. We have to know. You have to know how much it is, making sure you want to do that, and if you're buying it, then you can do what you want to do.
Can I intervene?
Please, because I'm about to.
I'm Sharon Hawkins. Coming Together is my nonprofit. We're asking the city to donate the building.
That's different.
Yes, for the nonprofit. It's
Because of the
ROC,
price they're asking for.
1-3. And the reason I want to keep it is a part of the community. For me, it's a part of the community. It has history. I would hate to see it knocked down. I don't care if I get it or someone else get it, but keep it. The bones are our history, our ancestors' history. I would like for it to stay. We have I don't know if it's on there, Kim. We have a picture of the difference. We're gonna come as close, but we're keeping the structure. I want to keep the structure. I don't want to tear it down. We want to expand it. We want to add all those things. We want the bakery. You have to remember our location. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to put $400 and something thousand. We're not. We're going to bring it up to code. We're going to make it presentable. We're going to do the bakeries and the coffee shops and studies upstairs and maybe keep a couple of rooms in it. Put a balcony on the side of the building. I don't know if y'all familiar with it, but there's a property on the west side, putting a balcony, putting something where they can come and eat, where the students can use. That street in Mary McLeod is not busy. We don't have a lot of revenue coming through it. So we want to make it affordable so people can take advantage. We have three commercials at the bottom. It's either expand those or add some different business in. That's for that community. I'm not no museum, just something that the community can use to put some traffic on that street. So I'm actually, please don't tear it down. Do something with the building, keep the structure, because the hands that build that, rather you tear it down, if you tear this building down and put a new one, that's not the Camel Hotel. That's the Camel Hotel. And if we're gonna represent the Camel Hotel and we're gonna keep it, we need to keep the structure. We need to keep the hands that built that building. So please, don't tear it down, do something with it. I'm one of the ones, and another young man, I'm willing to put whatever I have in this building to bring it up to code, to make it better, and it'll make the community better. It'll make the building look much better than what you see. Hopefully we can get to this point at the picture at the bottom. But if not, give it to somebody that can. That's it.
Thank you.
Hey, I said that.
Ms. O'Brien. Here's your clicker. Thank you. First, good evening, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and City staff. Thank you for the opportunity to present our vision of the redevelopment of 537, 539, and 541 Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard. This project is about more than constructing a building. It's about preserving history, creating jobs, expanding housing opportunities, supporting local businesses, activating public spaces, and strengthening Midtown Daytona Beach. Before I go any further, I don't think I properly introduced myself, but I'm Dean O'Brien, and I'm formerly a CPA. You're never formally a CPA, because once you pass the exam, you're always a CPA. I'm an ex-Arthur Anderson
CPA, practiced for many years, and now I own a business called 06 Marketing. And I thought about wearing much dressier outfit. I said, no, let me show you what I do. I make apparel. I make a lot of different products for probably most of you guys. I know for some people in the audience, they told me I made their blazers, but also for Embry-Riddle, I'm one of their main vendors. I do lots of promotional products all over the country. But the historical significance of Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, let me make sure I do this right. This is where we are at today. This is the building now. I hope everybody can see it. This is today. This is my vision of what it is, what it should be, the future. And I've been in this community for 32 years. Done a whole lot of things here. Everything from being on the Kiwanis Club to United Way Selection Committee to Paula Reed and I founded the NPHC. I've worked with some of you many times in some form or another. I was the president of the Daytona Beach Stadium. I renamed that stadium from Municipal Stadium to Daytona Beach Stadium. So I've been around for a while. Why redevelopment is necessary? The property has suffered severe fire damage. Severe fire damage. I've been all through the building. You can almost fall through the floor. I also saw the people across the street that I think they thought they were going into a rebuild and turn into rebuild and tear out everything from plumbing, electricity. The roof on the building is out of code. I read through the assessment of the property, and you can put lipstick on a pig all you want, but it's time for us, this community, to do something different and bring value to the area. My plan is instead of having, we do have a lot of businesses there now, but I want to bring 06 Marketing. That's unheard of nationally. We will be on the news because a different type of business is coming to our community to bring jobs. I want to bring a fulfillment center there. I do a lot of fulfillment right now for Divine Nine organizations, for HBCUs, for Embry-Riddle, for Coca-Cola. So I want to bring jobs to that area. I want to also bring in a restaurant. I think a restaurant is needed. It'll bring the foot traffic. I understand that area so much. I think I know everybody who owns every property on that avenue. I've seen it enough times. As I said, the first floor, let's go back to that, is where I would locate my company, 06 Marketing. This is not a maybe this will work or not. We're a thriving company. 06 Marketing is probably one of the largest minority-owned companies in the area. And I've done this before. This is not my first time. I owned a company called Florida Multimedia and Graphics, sold it, built it, and I had to stay out of the industry for a while. That's when some of you saw me at the stadium. I became president of the Daytona Stadium. But now I can be back in the industry. So now I want to bring my marketing company, which is growing and growing every day. I love what you guys did for Daisy Stockton Park, and I think that investment alone deserves the next step. What's coming next for that area? I mean, how do we turn, the avenue into a thriving area? I think I can do it. I've done it. This is not about guesswork. This is all about, I've been there, done that. Some of you know me from, I did a lot of events. I did, as I said, we've done a lot of things in this market for a wide range of organizations. So this is not guesswork. This is all about execution. I appreciate the young man, the guys, I call him young man because I'm 63. So I appreciate what he was saying, but I think the vision is, how do we change the course of that avenue? How do we become a catalyst for change? And it's by doing something like what I'm proposing. I think that we have a great plan. The second floor and the third floor are both going to be residential. And I'm not guessing at this. I have enough experience. The reason why I'm in Daytona from the first place is because many people don't realize is that I was part of what is now the Community development. And I built 13 houses in New Jersey, and then the person who was the money guy said, hey, I have a company in Florida, you want to come to Daytona? So I said, sure, why not? Acquisition and development costs. I'm not looking at this simply and saying I could do it and just have some fun and waste everybody's time. I've looked into it. I've researched it. I know that it's going to cost money to tear the building down. It's going to cost money for the type of infrastructure that I need there. For the branding company and the marketing company, there's certain requirements that we're going to need. Upstairs is going to be a nice balcony view of the Daisy Stockton Park. So I really want to turn this into more than just, here's goes another building that we're going to do on the avenue. I call it lipstick on a pig. I don't mean to call it that, but if that's offensive, sorry. But the bottom line is, it's time that we put up new construction and create a new marquee in that area. I did bring a lot of things but I know I don't have much time here. But why us? Why are we uniquely qualified for this project? I've told you a little bit about my background already. And I think because my deep community ties, as I said, I've been involved in almost every organization or nonprofit or for-profit board, starting even with Mission United. Bill France and I think it was Bill France who started that, but it's all about bringing the community together. I can tell you, there's so many things. I was involved with Bethune-Cookman's football program. I'm a big donor to the college. I do have cultural and historic awareness of that building. So it's not about throwing the building out and all the history in it. Let's preserve it. Let's figure out how to preserve the sign and do something with the sign and make it, and the history of the property. It takes more than just, let's save some old rocks and a building that's caving in from the top. The walls, everything is old. So the future is, I think my business acumen, my business background, I'll pit it against anybody. I mean, bottom line is I've been doing this. 06 Marketing has a brick and mortar facility right in front of Pelican Bay. For those of you who drive by, we do a lot of things for a lot of different organizations all across the country. As a matter of fact, Mr. Fiatra, I think I'm working on the 100-year centennial for Mega Sci-Fi in Pittsburgh. So we just, Fiatra, I heard it pronounced wrong then, sorry. But as far as job creation and economic growth, I plan on working with the economic development groups, all of them. I mean, I've worked with Keith Norton and back in the day for Team Volusia. I do have a relationship with all of the economic development groups somehow. I've worked with people like Mike Panaggio over at the DME. I'm also on the board over there. So as far as design excellence, I definitely want to do something special. And I'm going to work my butt off to get as much money and grant money to make it not just another building, because this is a catalyst for change. We have to decide to turn and do something different, or else we're going to get the same results. And in that community, it's well needed.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I know you told me who all you've worked for, and that's wonderful. And you've met with Michelle, thank you. Once, several times. Okay. You're wanting to tear the building down, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I wanted to verify. You're wanting to tear the building down. Are you wanting to buy the property?
No, I have I'm hoping, not hoping, but I'm asking the city to donate the properties. So there's 3 properties involved because of construction
Okay.
and an investment in that area.
That is something different, and I know we just heard it here too. I think that's something you need to be talking to the CRA development board and everything before anything like this is presented to us, because there's all we see is 2 pictures, and we really don't know what you want to do. I know you have all the experience, you've told us, but I don't think we're that far yet.
Well, I have been meeting with the Michelle and that
Yes.
department.
And I think you need to have a few more meetings.
I've had, yeah, I appreciate that.
Because, that's not something that we can just set up here and make a decision and donate land.
Well, I do want to say, Commissioner, for both of the presenters, the commission requested that they be brought before
Yes.
us for presentation.
So I appreciate it, yes.
That's correct.
Correct, yes. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for the
Thank
question.
you.
And I've taken a lot into consideration, including a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, a lot of input to make sure I understand what I'm getting into, from all angles. So I'm ready. I think my 32 years in Daytona Beach has put me in this position. I've seen a lot of different events, a lot of different businesses. I've been involved in a wide range of organizations, and I'm ready. I've sown enough seeds all over this town. So from the first day I got here, my first job, a small story, but my first reason for being involved on the Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, but the city commission approved a guy named Antonio Phillips for a Black Power Union. And I thought, wow, I got my first real big job. And he spent $17,000 with me, and guess what happened? Next time I saw him, I'm brand new to the area. Next time I saw him, he was being arrested. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna get paid. That's all I thought about. So, and I've been through enough hurdles and ups and downs. I think it's time that we expedite and make changes, because I'm not gonna be here forever. I'm 63 years old, and I will hope this concept will be expedited faster to make sure that we do have somebody who's willing to do something like that. Because we can talk about bringing a whole lot of ideas to the avenue. I'm bringing a business. I'm bringing 06 marketing, and I'm bringing a clientele that's not going anywhere. So it's going to create opportunities for a lot of people.
So it's my understanding from what we've heard this evening, both presenters are asking that we donate the building, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
One wants to salvage what's left of the building. They feel as if that there's something there that they can retain. And another is saying that he will demolish the building and bring forth a new idea. That's it in a nutshell. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, any questions or comments from the commission?
Go ahead.
Commissioner
I'm excited
Paris?
that we had people come and show a lot of interest in the property. I guess when I had brought this up initially, it was to keep the history in Daytona Beach, because we do have a lot of interest in our Black Historical Trail. I know that we have 18 on the site right now, and one of the places on the trail, I believe, was demolished, so now we have 17. I didn't want to make it down to 16. So how can we still keep the history of that location and not make it just another empty lot that something's built? But if we can incorporate either the sign or a plaque, but something, even a business, because we do need foot traffic down there. So I think that would be a great idea. I guess I'm waiting to hear more of what's to come. So I just want to say thank you to the applicants.
Absolutely.
I feel the same, and I would think that staff would vet both of them and perhaps be able to present something to us on what perhaps would be the best route to take.
And give a clear plan of exactly what we would see in the building.
And
A
what is
very, very
donating a
clear
building
plan.
cost us?
Okay. Any more comments? Questions?
Okay, that was our final agenda item for the CRA, since we tabled item 7A.
Okay. We will now move on to administrative items. That's you. That's you.
That got pulled.
That got, oh, we pulled it. That's right. Okay.
So we're on the comments and inquiries from the CRA.
Any comments?
I do.
Yes.
I have questions about the boardwalk, pier, Breakers Park. Is that also part of the CRA, or do we have other entities? It's separate?
Part of Main Street CR.
Okay. So is the redevelopment department responsible for checking those areas, or is it Public Works, or is it?
It's not only redevelopment, it's our Public Works and Parks and Rec staff that actually does the checking. Redevelopment does not go out there every day. There are staff that are assigned through different departments to look at that area.
Okay. So how do we go about setting certain type of standards of what we expect as a commission for when people come and visit our parks on the beach, our pier on the beach, our boardwalk on the beach?
There are certain standards that staff abide by. Is there a certain standard that you're expecting that's not being fulfilled from your perspective? But there are standards where people are cleaning the restrooms, pressure washing, checking lights or things, and it's a tourist destination, so it is constantly changing, but there are standards that our Public Works and Parks and Department have, and if there's a certain standard that you think, and I know there are some concerns you may have that we're not meeting, you have to share those with us, but there is a process that takes place with Public Works staff and just regular city staff that may be in the area as well, from landscaping and also.
So what do you think is the next step? Because I did send an email, I shared my email and my photos with the rest of the commission, especially on a holiday weekend. Yeah. And I feel that we should be providing more of an experience to people coming to visit our beaches, also for our residents.
When you say experience, are you asking for us to have activities, or are you talking about cleanliness?
One of the main things that a lot of the business owners in that area feel that after we lost the amusement park area, things went downhill a little bit. So we do have a spot on Ocean Avenue. So we have one spot that we're going to be using for Senior Frogs, which I saw that should be coming soon, right, for site plan approval. And then also we still have that area right next to it that is, I guess, we're saving it for a hotel or something. Is there any way that we could be using this for maybe amusements instead, that we could rent out to somebody? Because I know that we can't make people on private property do stuff with their property, but we do have property, and that is one thing that was successful on the boardwalk, which was the amusements. Our Ferris wheel, bumper cars, rides for the kids. So
yeah, that is a potential, if that's the direction of the commission, for us to get in the business of performing amusement park processes for the community. However, we have to be also mindful that some of those amusement parks and amusement rides were light fixtures and things of that nature that also deal with what we can do with turtles in the community. But if you all as an elected body want us to go from using that from an economic engine for accommodations or hotel, you all get to make that decision. And if you all want us to transition and go and look for amusement park rides and things of that nature, that's what staff will go and look for. And so that's a direction that you all have to provide us. But over the years, that has not been, from my perspective, since I've been here, that has not been a push from the elected officials to look at Ferris wheels, go-karts, or things of that nature on our particular property.
That should be the private sector, not city-run facilities. And I think we would have a better chance over there if we actually are able to clean up. I understand what you're saying over there, clean up the area. I've seen the pictures as well, but I honestly think the problem is more we have a lot of homeless people over there and drugs happening, and I'm not sure what we can do cleaning up some of the activity over there. I mean, we saw what just happened to those tourists that was here, the little boy that got his neck slashed. But there has to be more we can do over there, and I think the chief just actually has a stub station they're getting ready to put in or start. Am I correct on that?
They started already.
They did start. Okay.
And one of the things that we're dealing with and that some individuals may not like is that just because a person is unhoused or homeless, they still have a right if they're not breaking any laws. And we deal with that a lot.
I understand that.
Trying to figure out how we can actually move those individuals along if they're breaking the law, because we see a lot of people setting up with chairs and stuff like that. So the police has to determine if they're violating any laws before they're able to tell them they need to move along or not. And that is a legal thing and not just something for redevelopment.
But there is state laws out there. There's state laws for camping. If you see people laying around on the sidewalk, on a public sidewalk, with all their belongings, that is camping. They can be removed. If you see people that are all drugged out on the sidewalk, laying around and shooting up, there's laws for that. That's disorderly conduct anyway. And there's a lot of laws. I think there's actually more that we can do over there if our lawyers will release our police department as well. I think that's something, Ben, you need to look at, because it's pretty bad over there, and you don't get the blunt of it. The commissioners get the blunt of it, especially the beachside commissioners. I'm all the way on the west side, and I get it as well. I think our lawyers, not trying to put you guys on the spot, but you guys need to start giving the police more tools. There is a lot of laws out there that they can use to clean up beachside. It's very dangerous over there. I'm actually scared to walk over there at night by myself. The residents that live over there, they need help. And the commissioners over there, I see how much on social media they're all after the commissioners, and it's not right, because their hands are tied as well.
Okay. I'm going to let Ken ask to speak first.
Go ahead.
I'm going to let him speak, and then you, and I'm going to give Ben an opportunity to respond.
I was over there last week because I received a video of people under the pier, and I sent a text to the sheriff. He had one of his guys show up there, and according to the rules that are in place at this time, there's not much we can do when homeless people come and set up shop under the pier in the shade, because that's what, there's also tourists setting up shop under there. So they bring their whole household with them, the homeless people do. The tourists bring their blankets and their chairs and their towels and their radio and stuff. Now, what I was told by the deputy was if they were doing that at night, they come in, round them up, and take them away. Also, our new the beach crew we have there for the boardwalk with the Daytona Beach Police Department, they were there watching the whole thing and talking to the deputy while I was. We were walking, the three of us, me and three officers, back up toward the street there, up Main Street. When just before we got up to the next intersection there was a guy standing over gawking at some young girls in the shower, taking a shower. And when he looked around and saw the three officers, he bolted. They chased him down in the blink of an eye and searched him and talked to him, ran his name. He had an outstanding warrant for failure to appear. they were Johnny on the spot. We're not going to be able to have that new boardwalk unit to come in and clean that all up overnight. Those guys were doing a good job, and I think we need to give them a little time with that since we have designated a group of officers to deal with that. The other problem we have over there is prior to 2011, property could be taken from individuals by eminent domain and given to developers. And there was a 20-year lawsuit with Dino, and he lost property over there. A lot of people lost property, and they came in and took over that area. Carlsbad Development out of California, headed by a guy named Bill Geary, who ended up in prison, and then Mr. Anderson took over the leadership of that group, and he has since passed. Now his family owns that big parking lot there across from the post office, and some more property up there that goes on to the north up to the Hilton, between the Hilton and Main Street. Also, if I remember correctly, Ben can correct me if I'm wrong, I hope, that once they decide to build something there on that parking lot they have, they're allowed to take over Ocean Avenue there between Main Street and the hotel. And so, we will lose that too at that time. And these things were done a long time ago, before we sat here. A lot of it was done even prior to the Pam Woods days, when she sat in this chair that I'm sitting in. So, we've got our hands are kind of tied as to what we can do over there once they decide to start developing. And we can't make them develop. So we just have to sit back and wait until they find the financing or make the decision to pull the trigger on the development. I don't like it. I didn't like it when it was happening. It was long before I was involved with sitting up here. I don't know what we can do about expediting any of that stuff. Maybe our city attorney has some ideas. But we've got a lot of work to do over there, but we're kind of handicapped and in a corner in some ways, as far as being able to put something on those vacant lots. I mean, to me, that's a 25, 30-year temporary parking lot there. At one time, about a year before Mr. Anderson passed, he said himself in the newspaper he was bringing in over $500,000 a year parking cars there. I can see why they weren't motivated at that time, and probably still not motivated now, because it's taken in a lot of money and they're not having to spend a lot of money to do it. It just comes to the kiosk when people pull in there and park. So we're kind of in a situation that we're in a corner here, I don't know how we could motivate them to go ahead and do something with that. The thing Commissioner Parris was talking about with cleaning up over there, I've owned businesses, and everything outside my front door I had to clean up. I never had the municipality that I was in send somebody out and blow off the sidewalk and pick up the trash and that sort of thing. And I'm not trying to get into it any deeper with Louis over there. But there's things that some of them can do themselves that would help, if you know what I mean. I mean, sweeping the sidewalk's pretty easy to do. But anyway, we're kind of in a corner with that stuff over there. I would love to see it back the way it used to be, with people everywhere and that sort of thing. We also have the new issue of the very vulgar merchandise that is there on that corner, which Mr. Attorney has told me that That's First Amendment rights. I agree, it's a First Amendment right, but there should be something we could do to keep it from being posted on the front of that building. I mean, if I hung signs out in my front yard that said those things, somebody would come and have something to do about that with the city. Those things are really offensive to me. I find them very offensive. I was there once before, and there was a family that, Mommy, what does that say? Come on, son, you don't need, I'm not gonna talk to you about that. And he was old enough to read, but he wasn't old enough to know what it meant. I don't know what we can do to stop them from doing that. I know we sent them a letter asking nicely, but going forward in the future, it doesn't appear that there's much we can do about it at this point. So with that, I will yield to the next person.
Thank you, Mr. Strickland. Commissioner Reed? Go right ahead.
I wanted to address Commissioner Parris's inquiry in regards to boardwalk amusement. If I'm not mistaken, those Ferris wheels and things like that before, they didn't belong to the city, right?
No.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. Because even the last stuff that they had there, it was so weak. I think the Ferris wheel fell apart, or the little, isn't that a Ferris? Yeah, that's a roller coaster, right? Yeah. So the thing that goes around, Ferris wheel. That little metal thing fell apart. And I just really don't see us dealing with the liability for that. But if we have property and someone wants to do a special event and bring things,
Absolutely.
they take on the liability. That's totally different.
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't
want to get us into the amusement park business.
Exactly.
But if we do have property, we can rent it because it's just sitting there vacant right now. We're waiting for some hotel developer because I think that's what we requested for that property that we bought. I think it's 28 South Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the address right now. But if we could utilize it for that time being, I think it would be a good idea because it's going to bring more people to that area because when you get to the end of the boardwalk, you have multiple steps, ramps. It's not very user friendly. Even when I went, they had a mom was coming out from the parking lot and she was just looking at those steps with a carriage. And I said, "Are you going to go on the beach itself?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Well, we have a ramp that you could go down so you don't have to walk down the steps." Even like little signs like that say, ramp access. So it's more ADA accessible, family accessible. And with the amusement, it will bring people to the other side because I know that we have tourists there, but Breakers Park, I don't even know how it's not one of our top rated parks that needs to be fixed even in our master plan because if you go to all our other parks, Bethune Point Park, beautiful. Huger Park, beautiful. Yvonne Scarlett Golding, everything is beautiful. I just don't understand why that park is not getting the attention that it deserves. And I want to know what we have to do here tonight to make that happen. Because I know we keep saying that we have standards, things are being done. But if you go there, I understand too, if there's something in front of someone's store, yes, pick it up, throw it out. I'm of the same school. But when we get to our park, that park needs to look pristine. Because we have people that come specifically to come to our beach. They drive in for the day. They'll park in that parking lot, they'll go to the beach, look at the beach, and then they just leave. So, I think there's, manager, what can we do today to at least help with Breakers Park, cleanliness-wise?
Yeah, well, I think, David Waller, if you would come out, I think you all approved and we received about $500,000 to improve Breakers Park most recently, and so I think they're going through the same process to approve Breakers Park. It's either $400,000 or $500,000 that was approved by the commission, and we received the grant from Racing and Rec to improve that park. So I don't know where the status is, but the park is going to be improved because of the issues we had with the splash pad. You all asked for that to be removed, and if I'm correct, we did receive either $400,000 and $425,000 from
$425,000 from Racing Rec to replace the splash pad at the playground. That was a request of the Parks and Rec Department that was also recommended by the commission. And we've got a site plan and we're working on design work, and then we expect to put out a bid for construction of that later this year.
Are we going to do any landscaping improvements on the other side?
There'll be some work around the impacted area around the splash pad. It won't be a full renovation of the entire park.
Is it possible to get some landscaping done for that area? Because we do have beach volleyball, we have benches there, we have educational signage, which is still peeling. I mean, I want to make it look presentable when people come. So what can we do here today as a group and say this is what we want done? Or this is the standards that we want to uphold?
We're prepared to implement whatever improvements the commission wants to see.
Okay, so that's kind of where I get lost. So what I'm hearing right now is we're saying give us suggestions, and what we're being told in return is make suggestions. I'm not a landscaper, horticulturalist, or engineer, but when I went there, probably when all of us went there, I went there at night. I went there from about 8 to 9:30 at night. When you look at the volleyball courts, I know they're not supposed to be lit up, but the entire area west of the volleyball sand pits, dark. That whole area looks like a giant dead zone. Now, I recognized, did a little research. I know about the turtles, right? The county and the turtles, the amount of light that we're allowed to have there. I contacted FPL and I said, we have some lights out. FPL said, okay, we'll take a drive-by and take a look. Sent an email, asked about lighting on the boardwalk. A couple of spots were dead. I understand that could be because of the county and the turtles. I understand that. But there's basic housekeeping. There's a sense of conscientiousness, right? It's about the details, and I think that's what we're discussing right now. If we cannot make a big renovation, what can we do about details to keep it clean? Simple, clean, and neat makes me feel more safe. I did see young people, I saw children, I saw families going to the arcades. There are people coming to the area at night. So clean. The bottom line for me is just make it clean. I sent a picture to the manager today, and it was a piece of construction grading of some sort. I had barricades on it, and I had some pylons on it. And I asked, how long had that been there? I don't yet know how long it has been in that state.
It's the grading you talked about.
Yeah.
How long?
We're not. I called through my various divisions today, and we don't know who put that there. We went and picked it up this afternoon.
So now that's no longer there, correct?
It has been picked up.
Did they check to see why it was there in the first place?
I would presume that we regularly have issues with that grate. There's a grate there that blocks the FP&L. The sand works underneath it, and then the grate creates a trip hazard, and then we contact FP&L to come in.
Okay, and that's exactly what it was. It was a trip hazard.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. So who's responsible for that?
FP&L is responsible for that particular grate.
Okay, and so we're putting it out as a courtesy, as a safety precaution, correct?
If we identify something that's creating a hazard, then we try to prevent people from getting injured at that location, and we notify whoever is responsible for what's creating the hazard.
Okay, and I'm going to guess, because I know you guys do a good job of just staying on top of them and saying, hey, come and fix your stuff.
We work with FP&L every day. We have a tremendous amount of infrastructure in the city that's owned by them. And they generally are very responsive to what we ask for. Sometimes things slip through the crack. It's a large organization with a lot of infrastructure as well. We'll speak to the lighting for a minute. We have been working with the county since we started turtle season. FP&L has turned off some lights on A1A that have no buildings east of the fixture. That creates a lighting issue on the beach. So we have a few lights that are turned off along A1A. Okay. And we have a few lights on the boardwalk that are off as well. Most notably, there's a couple right in front of I don't know the name of the steakhouse, but the steakhouse, we had adjusted those lights a couple of years ago because they were shining into the restaurant, and we tipped them down.
Okay.
And when you tip them down, then they light the beach, and the fixtures are so corroded we can't tip them back up at this point. So they have to be replaced. We've ordered some new fixtures, but it takes time to get those and get them put back in.
So I would like to know, again, I feel the frustration of we want to see improvement, but we don't know what to ask for, right? So when we went to the marina, let's say, everybody took a walk at the marina and everybody provided suggestions. And then when I go to the marina meetings, I get a checklist, and the checklist says, suggestion, this is what we've completed. This is what we think the problem is, and this is when we'll have it done for you, or it's in progress. Can we have something like that take place for that area?
I think, you know, getting, you know, I think the message we understand. The message is have a cleaner, better presented public spaces in Beachside and elsewhere in the city. And I mean, we as an organization, that's what we strive to do in all of our public spaces. You know, Beachside is a little bit more unique than a lot of our other public parks. It's, you know, it's a very heavily used location. It's a different user group than we get in a lot of our other community parks. We do service on the boardwalk and then in the kind of the core area twice a day, 7 days a week. You know, we do trash cans, we do litter pickup, and we do general housekeeping. You know, it's frequency. Twice a day is what we have historically have been doing. You know, the first cycle pass goes through in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we do another one in the early afternoon, and then it rides through the night, and we do it again.
And I was there when the gentleman was there doing the night one.
And you know, it's a game of, you know, who can get there first to get it picked up, right? Things get dropped, they miss trash cans, they get blown around. It's very breezy. So things that end up loose that you wouldn't necessarily see in other public spaces. You know, and we pressure wash most of that area once a week.
You pressure wash the area on Ocean Ave?
We wash Ocean Avenue, and we wash, that's not weekly. The boardwalk area in Breakers Park is weekly. It's a little more frequent in the pathway that Joe's uses to carry their garbage out to the
So what
dumpsters.
about the sidewalk in front of, let's say, the pizza place? Like as you make the curve and you come up to the corner of Ocean Ave, or from, let's say, Main Street, heavy foot traffic, up Main Street up, that entire the shop area, do we actually pressure wash those sidewalks?
Those get cleaned as well.
Wow.
You know, we you know, a lot of that area is, you know, they're either concrete sidewalks or they're a concrete paver. And particularly in places where there's vehicles or motorcycles that park on the sidewalks, the oils have permeated into the concrete. It doesn't pressure wash off. I mean, if y'all try to, you know, if you have a leaky car like I do on my driveway, it doesn't necessarily come off with a pressure washing. And you know, Ocean Avenue has some other stains and marks, you know, between, or I guess north of Main Street that don't remove with a pressure washing. It's not that they're dirty; they're just permanently stained. You know, that concrete and those roadway areas have been there for a long time, and some things just don't come off. You know, we strive to get it as clean as we can. Some of it needs to be, you know, it needs a refresh. I mean, it's a lot of what we've been talking about with, you know, work we've been discussing on behalf of the CRA for portions of Main Street and Ocean Avenue and some of the other areas that, you know, you just have to cycle through and do some new infrastructure to get that fresh new look. But you know, if there's, you know, the low hanging fruits, we try to chase those on a regular basis. And you know, it's just it's how much resources we want to commit to one particular area, and when you put it there, it comes from someplace else. There's no extra resources, right? So, you know, anything we put there means you're pulling services from another part of town, and that's, you know, we're happy to do whatever the request is. You know, we have felt like that 2 days a week service down there has been serving the need. You know, we can add. You know, a third pass if we think that that's important. But you know, typically in the summer, which is when we do the twice a day, you know, after you get through the early afternoon, the crowd dies down. Folks from the beach start to migrate out, and you have a crowd that tends to run through at bar closing, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They're pretty messy. We're not there at that time of day, but we do that push through again at between 7 and 8 in the morning, so that when folks come back out of the hotels, it's been picked up and it's clean again.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure what I got out of that yet, but I do know that I'd like to know when the sidewalks are done. Not breakers, that's a different game, but the sidewalks where the small shops are, because I walked that and I thought, this is interesting if I was seeing this.
They were cleaned just a couple of weeks ago, but we got that.
So it's not weekly, it's on a rotation.
I can look at the pattern. The pattern changes. Some areas are monthly, some areas are weekly, some areas are quarterly. It just kind of it depends on historically who gets more foot traffic, who gets dirtier faster.
Right. Then in the evening times, I went for a walk as though I was a tourist. I said, if someone went to dinner and then they went for a walk on the beach, what would they experience? Okay. I went underneath the pier and I saw people living under. That's not your issue, so just so you know, I'm just making a comment. I emailed the county. I contacted Representative Reinhardt, let him know, and then so my question is, how can we bring it to their attention that we need some regular checks under there? And I was told that the best time to really go there is like in the wee hours, let's say after 11 p.m., 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, to rouse people through there. It just wasn't safe. It just didn't
Actually,
feel safe.
just pick up the phone and call the sheriff. He'll
Really?
take care of it.
Well, yeah. I'm not planning on going there regularly.
I'll call him.
That would be great. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. So overall, people are going. See, that's the thing. People are still going, but they're going at night. So you don't see certain things. And I was looking for certain things. I was looking to see how it felt. It just felt dark, but I understand. Now, if we are going to be a turtle place, all right, if that is who we are, can we embrace it? Can we put up signs that say dim lighting due to turtles? You know, thank you. Could we have more of them? Because when I was walking on the boardwalk, I didn't see that many. In fact, I was looking for something to let me know, right?
Marks every pole that they turn off for turtle season. They have a little round medallion they stick it on. That's part of their process.
That's the thing.
To minimize
Okay.
the amount of calls they get for
Okay. Well, thank you.
I did have a question, David. What is the hours for beach, for people to be on the beach and in the parks for the city?
The beach doesn't have any closed hours. You can be on the beach 24 hours a day. If you're recreating, you're not supposed to sleep at the beach, but you can be there. I don't know what hours the county patrols it from the sheriff's department. I would presume they have some night patrols, but I'm sure they're sparse because there's not a lot of use. And our Breakers Park has, I don't remember the hours of Breakers Park, but it's closed for use, but it is not closed to pass through because it is a connective space for Joe's Crab Shack, and it's a connective space for people to go from our parking lot that is not closed to access the beach. So you're not supposed to be in the park at night, hanging out and doing park things, but you are allowed to pass through as a passageway.
And then the power boxes on the pier, are they operational? I say that because when I walked by, there were two of them. One was unlocked, metal box, but open. And the other side, there was one with a green light on it. I'm assuming that means it's
Outlets,
active. Yeah.
they should be off or locked.
It was unlocked and green.
There's a couple on the pier itself that are in place, and they should be serviceable, but they're not supposed to be open. And there's also power outlets around the band shell on the interior that are used for events and activities, and they are on a separate circuit that is supposed to be off when there's not an actual event happening at the band shell.
Commissioner Strickland, you had another comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that after last week's situation I observed down there, I had spoken with our city manager about arranging a meeting between the city and the county, maybe with the sheriff and the chief, if that's who it needs to be, and kind of get a little more definitive about who controls that space under that pier. I believe the city owns the pier, if I'm correct, but who's in control of the space under that?
That would be the sheriff's department.
So we need to get some definitive rules of enforcement and stuff there, and maybe we can tighten up what's going on under that pier in the daytime as well as at night, because I can see that. I know that if I went down there at night and there were a bunch of those people hanging under there, it would bother me, and not much bothers me. So, it's a pretty tough situation down there sometimes, and if we could get a little more definitive with the county as to what's going on and what we can and can't do in different hours there would be very helpful. So, anyway, that's it for now.
Okay.
I had a question for Commissioner Paris. Were you brought up the Anderson lot, but were you concerned about what it looked like, or it's?
Well, the parking lot, we did have code go, and they did find multiple violations, especially they had electrical boxes that were open. so that they have to address. Then there's a lot that's on the beach side. According to planning, they told me they have this RDB4 zoning, and they're allowed to have construction items on it. I just haven't had a chance to go and look at it.
I only ask because it's my
Yes.
understanding that we're supposed to review the Anderson lot like every 2
That's
years.
what I was
So
going to say, every 2 years.
Are you saying it's only the outlets on the Anderson lot?
No, they have busted
Oh,
out
they-
fences,
yeah, okay.
landscaping, but the one that was very concerning was that we had open electrical boxes.
Right.
When
I've
was-
seen a lot of
when
code
was
violations.
Let me ask, when was the last time the Anderson parking was reviewed? Because it's supposed to come back to us every 2 years. As a commission, we're supposed to review that.
I can't speak to that. I just wanted to speak to the construction material if we could. The construction material is on the lot that's adjacent to the, not the parking lot, but adjacent to the boardwalk. It's city material. The property owner has allowed us to store material there while we fix the stairs and ramps and along the boardwalk. They've been very gracious and very supportive of our use of that to reduce our transportation time from materials back and forth. So that, just want to let you all know that that is actually our material, and our contractor has been maintaining that lot as part of their agreement to utilize it.
Okay, because over the weekend, they left that lot open and people thought it was the entrance to the beach. So, I mean, we have to be very careful with this.
They're asked from the property owners to roll the gate closed, but it doesn't. They don't have it's not typically locked. So people do open it and they traverse down it. It looks like an access way.
Okay. I've asked city manager and Tish to bring that back to us of when was the last time we reviewed it, and make sure that it's on at some point for us to review, and let us know ASAP when that will be reviewed, because I know it hasn't been 2 years. I don't even know if some of you all may not know because you weren't up here. Paula and I were up here, so we know that it's supposed to be reviewed.
It hasn't been reviewed in 6 years, at least.
Could you also send us all a copy of the agreement that was made whenever that was turned into a temporary parking lot? What the rules and guidelines are, if there's any limits or timetable where it would end or expire or something.
Yes.
Because that was done a long time before any of us were sitting up here.
Okay.
Commissioner,
okay. I wanna.
I would like to hear from Mr. Gross as well.
I'm going to give him the opportunity.
Okay.
I want to chime in on this conversation, and then I have not forgotten. Okay. Give me just a minute to close this out. I wanted to chime in on what you were talking about with regards to the boardwalk and Commissioner Reed, and talking about having different rides there. And when we talk about, I just think when we talk about branding, which is something we've talked about ad nauseum on this commission, we've talked about branding, what we want the city to look like, how we brand it, how people, when they come into the city, they know that this is Daytona Beach. And I think part of that branding has to be what we decide to do on that boardwalk area, in that particular area. I think that we're going to have some really serious, hard conversations about what branding is going to look like. We talk about being a family-friendly town. We want to bring that family-friendly feeling back to the community. And part of doing that is going to be what we do in that particular area right there. That's going to be paramount. In my opinion, that is going to be paramount. So although we're not a commission or a city that wants to be a amusement ride type commission, it does not mean we cannot ask staff to put feelers out there for people to bring some ideas, or companies that would be interested in bringing some ideas. We're not just, I hear us and we're saying, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. But it does not mean that we cannot tell staff to put some feelers out there. See if you have some companies that are willing to bring some things back to us with regards to rides, because we need a plethora of things for people to do when they come to Daytona Beach. If you ask me, it's just never going to be enough things for us to put out there for people to do when they come to our community. So are you all interested in having staff to put some feelers out there, see if we have some companies that this is what they do, maybe be interested in bringing something back to us? It doesn't mean that we're going to be in the business of it, but it means that we can bring people who are in the business of doing it. So is there any interest in that?
I'm a yes.
No, I think that's what we were saying, that we wouldn't do it, but let somebody else do it.
Okay, so, but we didn't give a direction to staff to specifically.
Okay, staff, you're directed.
I would welcome that, but we need to make sure they're not used up travel rides like what we had last round over there.
I agree.
Yeah.
The last roller coaster we had, that bad boy was wore out before they set
Yes,
it
it
up. We need something that is not completely.
I don't know who got on that and why, but yeah, you're exactly
I
right.
would never have gotten on that, and they went away after it jumped the track. And
Yeah, so,
anyway, it was
so
terrible.
we want reputable companies to come in with some high quality things. We don't
Absolutely.
want them to bring any crap or trash up in here.
And we're not
so.
talking about all the time. She's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, special events just to give folks something to do when our tourism is high.
I mean,
just temporary stuff. Are you talking about all the time?
I would say
Oh, well, all the time,
it could
then.
be all the time. Like if someone is willing.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. So we're in agreement there.
So is that an RFP for the land we own out there? Is that what we're saying? If we have property out there that's vacant, is it an RFP for somebody to come and do that?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
If you would, do you agree with that? Okay. Awesome. Now we're going to give Attorney Gross an opportunity to respond to Commissioner Cantu.
Thank you.
Yes. See what
I
can
just
be
want to
done.
say, because I get complaints every single day from those residents on Beachside, and you see it all over social media too.
Okay.
I mean, it's bad.
Let's give him some opportunity.
Yeah, well, as you all know, the courts don't make it easy or simple for us to enforce regulations that would prohibit what you might think of as loitering in a public space. There's a whole body of case law, but we work closely with the police department constantly on being able to enforce the laws that we do have, which include things like ordinances that prohibit people from obstructing public right-of-way. Those are enforceable. We've got a history of advisory memos that we've written to the police department, which I'd be happy to share with the city commission. We have, from time to time, drafted ordinances for consideration by staff, including some ordinances that have not at this point been adopted, such as an ordinance that prohibits the storage of personal property on public sidewalks. I'm not sure why that hasn't gone forward yet, but I think there may be some logistics issues on the administrative side with enforcement of that, but I couldn't speak to that. As well as an ordinance that I think was presented here by one of the many people who showed up to complain about the drug house on, was it Grandview a few months ago, or Jessamine, or
Yeah,
Wilder?
there was a couple of them.
Wherever that was,
Correct.
somebody came with a couple of ordinances from another jurisdiction, including one that Winter Park had adopted that prohibits sitting on the sidewalk, which I looked at and I thought would be legally defensible, and that's been provided as a draft. I don't think any of those ordinances are a panacea. There are procedural safeguards, baked into those ordinances. For example, the Winter Park ordinance requires, and I think this is necessary to comply with constitutional law, an officer to give somebody notice that, hey, you can't be sitting on the sidewalk. And then if they fail to take any action to stop that, only then can the officer make an arrest. But that's certainly an ordinance we could add to the books. I don't know if that's legally necessary because, like I said, we already have an ordinance on the books that prohibits obstructing public right-of-way. I work with the chief a lot on this issue, and our police legal advisor works with police staff. I think the big issue with this is that it takes constant enforcement activity to, and I really can't speak for the police department on how effective or ineffective their time is used, but there are laws in the books that can be enforced.
Okay, so.
I do want to clarify a couple of things,
ahead.
though. So one, there is not currently in the city, and the state statute does not prohibit camping during the day. The camping prohibition in the state statute and the camping prohibition that we've adopted in our code prohibits overnight camping. However, it's possible that activity that will constitute illegal camping at night, if taken during the day, also constitutes obstruction of public property, which applies 24/7. So, as another example, we have an ordinance on the books that prohibits sleeping on the sidewalks. And 10 years ago, Judge Schuman, issued an order saying that that code provision was illegal. Again, if somebody's in fact obstructing the sidewalk, whether it's because they're laying down or sleeping or they've got a massive amount of personal property on the sidewalk, we can enforce that. There may be some ordinances that are easier to enforce. So, for example, the personal property storage on public property, which the land had adopted. We've had a draft. It may be easier to
Why
enforce
hasn't that went through?
I can't address that for you. That would be up to staff to bring that forward. Unless you were to direct me to put it on the agenda,
Right.
then I
So,
could
so
put it on the
Ben,
agenda.
are you saying that the information you provided to the police department has not been provided back to the clerk to be on the agenda? Because I know you all are working with the police department on that particular item, and I want to just be crystal clear on the statement that's being made, because I know that you have been working with the police chief and his team, and I want to make sure, have you asked, has all of the documents, all of the information been clear with the police department on what they can enforce? Because it has not made it to my office.
Well, we've provided multiple copies of the ordinance to staff and
So-
To the
CC'd
police
you,
department.
and CC'd you as well.
Yeah. But
So-
I'm saying the document has not been finalized from the police department to be placed on the agenda.
That may be the case, but as far as I know, the
Wait,
ordinance is
we
in
have the
final
chief
form.
here too, so I'd like to hear what this ordinance is.
Finished?
Unless there are any other questions, but
Okay.
but again, I think the police and our office do work hand in hand. We do try to enforce the ordinances, and there are procedural issues with the adoption of that personal property storage ordinance. We would be obliged to temporarily store property that we take that isn't itself like a health hazard or junk, and make that available to somebody whose property we've taken. So, and that might be a logistics issue standing in the way of using that ordinance, for example.
Okay,
find a
let's bring in chief and hear what he has to say.
Jakari Young, Chief of Police. So in reference to these various ordinances that we're discussing, we have discussed a lot of several different ordinances without having them in front of me. I can't give you a lot of different examples, but when we talk specifically about what Mr. Gross just referenced, like sitting on a sidewalk or sleeping on a sidewalk, the frustrating part for us is a lot of these ordinances we're discussing require us to give a warning first. So literally, we give a warning, you can't sleep here, but if they get up and go 2 feet to the left or to the right, then we have to give them another warning. So that's the frustrating part, because we can't sit there all day and just continue to give warning. Okay, no, we can't make an arrest yet. You got to give them another warning. Nope, can't make an arrest yet. You got to give them another warning. And that's the frustrating part for what we are dealing with. Is I wish we could just come in and take enforcement action on some of these things, but when we're required to give a warning and then they come into compliance by moving 2 feet over, it's kind of frustrating.
And who has told you that?
These are the discussions we're having.
Okay.
These are, we
Mr.
have to
Gross,
give these warnings first.
You need to look really hard and find out what they legally can do, because no other city is having this problem except Daytona Beach on Beachside. So call other cities, find out what they're doing, because I feel like their hands are tied. We as commissioners get a lot of slack by residents. And I know the police department does too. They need the tools so they can take care of this problem we are having on Beachside.
Well, just to be clear, those tools don't include any ability on my part to waive the Constitution or to put us into a situation where we're faced with a federal Section 1983 lawsuit that would risk not only a court telling us that we can't do what we did, but paying their attorney's fees for the pleasure of that suit. But we do work with the police department constantly, and we'll certainly work with them on reevaluating what the chief is telling you they've been told.
Okay, well, we need ordinance in place because it's getting awful bad, and I know I'm sounding redundant because
No, it's a tough situation, but one
keep
thing...
repeating myself,
Sure,
but
sure.
we are the only city.
Right. You know, one thing to keep in mind...
So please call the other attorneys in other cities, see what they are doing.
Let's let him finish.
We can look at the experience of other cities, but I'm going to, as your attorney, give you advice on the law based on what I see the law to be. And I want to just remind the commission that the panhandling ordinance that the city commission decided to adopt when Mr. Khan was presented to the commission was originally adopted in St. Augustine. Before it was adopted,
I'm not even talking about panhandling.
But let me just finish that. So St. Augustine hasn't been sued in court over that ordinance. Daytona Beach has been sued. And you all know that for some reason, and I think it has to do with the fact that people in suburban Minnesota have heard of Daytona Beach, but not Holly Hill necessarily. We're the ones that get sued. So if you were to give direction to my office to prepare an ordinance that would allow the police to arrest somebody for sitting on a sidewalk without giving a warning, I would come back to you with a legal opinion and tell you how likely it is that we're going to be violating the Constitution and what the monetary risk is, and if you wanted to proceed accordingly, you can proceed accordingly.
But Mr. Gross, they're not just sitting on a sidewalk. They are laying on a sidewalk. They're all drugged out.
Right. Well,
OD'd. They have belongings all next to them.
Right.
You have families trying to walk over
So,
these people.
obstructing
And I
the
just sent
sidewalk.
you a video, correct?
Well, actually, the video that you sent me was of a person who I think may not be on the public sidewalk. They were under the columns of a building.
But how many videos do I need to send you?
Well,
I will send you quite a few tomorrow.
that doesn't mean it's not enforceable. The
Okay.
reason why that would be enforceable is because they're camping on private property, and as we've talked about in numerous conversations, and you're aware of this because the police department does enforce this, the property owner's not allowed to have people camp on their property. And so when we approach the property owner and tell them that, they sign up for the trespass program.
That was public property.
Right.
Which was
you
public
saw
property.
it too. Okay, so to get back on the subject, what about this ordinance that hasn't been done? Where is it?
It's been drafted, it's been ready to go.
So, Mr. Future, he's saying it's ready to go. Do you have
Which
it?
ordinance are we talking about?
The last time it was sent to the chief and to the manager was in March of this year.
So can we get that by the next?
Are we talking about the personal property?
Personal property storage.
Yeah, the personal property, we don't have a problem with that. We're going to store the items at the Public Works building and then bring it back. If they
Okay.
come to pick it up, if not, it'll be disposed of based
Right.
off of the time.
Can we get that at the next commission meeting on the agenda?
The ordinance is
He
drafted.
says it's ready.
Chief, has your team signed off on it?
I'll go back and look at it because it's been, since March? So, but just for one point of clarification, when we talk about the giving the warnings, I'm not standing here saying we want to just be able to go and grab someone and just snatch them up and arrest them. But we need, because we want to apply common sense. But when we're met with non-compliance, we shouldn't have to give them a second warning.
You're
We
right.
need to be able to go ahead, take enforcement action, and make the arrest after they have been warned one time. We don't need them moving 2 feet over and then being told we have to warn them again before we can take action.
Can the trespassing
I'm
be attached to the
absolutely in
person?
agreement with
Or
that.
can it be the number of times that person has been warned versus the location?
Our office has been asked this question, both my predecessor and myself, about whether we could trespass somebody from the public sidewalk. And based on Mr. Jagger's research before me and my own research, I don't think we can trespass people ever from a public sidewalk. So that's the problem with using a trespass on a public sidewalk. However, I'm not actually specifically familiar with the issue that the chief's bringing up, and so what I'll commit to is with my police legal advisor and myself, we'll get with the department and make sure that our memos are clear and up to date and consistent with the current law.
So I've had this.
Go ahead. Oh, and Mr. Gross, can we have that sent to the city manager before the next commission meeting?
Which is that you're asking for?
That you're doing the research, because they have to give notice after notice if they just move 2 feet.
Okay.
If we're talking about that specific issue, we can furnish a memo before the next commission.
Okay,
meeting.
thank you.
Great. City manager's gonna.
Yeah. Vice Mayor, thank you. I just want us to be very clear. I don't want the police chief and the attorney's office to be on opposite sides of this item. That's why I think it is extremely important that the chief is able to work with his team, that this is their primary responsibilities, and not just have something put on and rush, and then the police department is not able to actually implement and provide the service. So hopefully we'll be able to sit down amongst the chief and the legal department based off the memo that the attorney's office has submitted back in March, and come to something to bring back to you all, because I think it is very important that they're all speaking the same, from the same sheet of paper as the chief legal advisor and the police chief. So
absolutely.
And I'd also like to be clear, my intention in bringing up that ordinance is not to throw anybody under the bus. I think there are logistics issues with the implementation of that ordinance, and I don't think it's going to be a panacea. It could be an additional tool, and it may be more effective than some of the tools that we have in place right now.
I had a few business owners approach me and ask why we couldn't have a 4-year enforcement of the trespassing versus having a renewal of the trespassing every year.
Because what's been supported by the federal court so far has been a renewal of the trespass every year.
Okay.
And nothing more than that.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait, Chief.
Well, I just have a comment. I want to thank Chief.
Absolutely.
Chief Young. No, because when I did go Memorial Day weekend, there was an officer there, and he was able to help with a woman who was under the influence or something in the bathroom. I just want everyone to know, we don't want to criminalize homelessness. The people that we're talking about are under the influence or something, or have some mental issues that maybe we could find them help. But the thing is, if someone is lying in the grass because they're coming off of something, or like that video, it was our educational center on Breakers Park where we have children going there. We should not have people coming down off of something on, especially city property. Nope. This is what we want to address. We don't, like I said, I'm not for criminalizing any type of homelessness, but if people are doing something illegally, we have to give the tools to the chief and his team to address this as well. So I just wanted to thank you.
Commissioner Parrish, you're absolutely right, because these people are not the ones that are homeless and want help. They do not want help.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you, Chief. One more question.
Yeah, I'm gonna
comment.
touch third rail with this one. Some of our issues is we don't have anywhere to put them, to offer them when they're out there, because they're mentally ill, they're drug addicted, they're alcoholic, and if I'm not wrong, we have been told by those that make laws higher than us that if you don't have somewhere to take them, something to offer them, you cannot arrest them for being homeless or for being in public. Those kinds of things. And I've said it before, we may end up having to spend some money to make this happen because the population is growing. With homeless people, you can laugh about it if you want to. Drive around. It just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Mr. Strickland, I want to say something. I want to say that we absolutely have somewhere to go because we have a multi-million-dollar facility for them to go
It's
to.
full.
They have to.
They have an outside space. They have an outside space.
And wait a minute, I'm not finished. I also want to say something that's going to be probably unpopular because you all may not remember this. You may not have been up here. And I don't know if it's still happening, but a lot of times the other cities drive their homeless to Daytona Beach. And I want y'all to know that. Okay, I want you all to know that a lot of times the outside cities, they put their houseless people in cars and they drive them to Daytona Beach and say, we're going to take you here because they have facilities, they have places that can help you here. They're better off to help you over in Daytona Beach. So when you hear that is a lot of other cities don't have the issues that we have, is because they take their issues and problems and they dump them on us. And it has happened. I know it was happening before we had our center, and I believe it still happens now that they chart them up and bring them right on down here and say, hey, those people have places to help you. So yeah, they don't have as much issues as we have in Daytona Beach because we're looked at differently. And I don't just mean the city to your left or the city to your right. I mean everywhere in this Tri-County area. That's what they do to us. So that's just something I want you all to know and keep in mind. Okay, any other questions and comments, because we're still on the consent agenda?
I just
CRA.
have one last thing.
Okay.
Because I don't think my question was answered about who is going to be in charge of looking at these things. Because Commissioner Strickland gets calls, Commissioner May gets calls, I get calls. It's all over the internet. So what do we need to do? Who's going to be that person that's going to go and look and see where there's issues and say, okay, this needs to be addressed?
If you, as David Waller said, we have staff members that go twice a day, 7 days a week, to look at these items. And so that same group of individuals will be the same ones that will be able to report back to staff if there's issues or concerns.
Is there a public works supervisor, or
David
can
Waller.
our...
David Waller.
We just email pictures, etc. to Mr. Waller.
What you email now is provided to the department director on any particular issue that you all have. So whatever comes in now goes back to those staff members, and it's documented in the system that we have with follow-up to say what took place on those particular
So you're
items.
telling me David Waller is going to go and be...
No, he'll
eyes?
make sure. No, I'm saying that he'll make sure his staff goes out and does that.
Well, who's making sure that the staff's doing it, because they've been doing it and we had to get these calls? Ken, I'm sorry, this is important here. This is our tourism area. You only have one chance to make a first impression, and our impression is not that good. And especially with this economy, we better be providing some good tourism.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You did
Okay.
sigh.
Okay.
I just,
All right.
you can sigh. You're right. You could do whatever
All
you
right,
want.
let's go.
That's my thing. So I would
Okay.
like to know who's going to be in charge of
David
looking at
Waller.
this. David Waller. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. This concludes our CRA
No,
meeting.
no, 1 second, 1 second.
Oh, she has something, one more.
1 second, nothing to do with the beach, nothing to do with the beach.
Okay.
So last time I spoke about the downtown area and I spoke about the benches, and I asked, are we having the benches removed? And I was just, recommended that I make a motion. So I'd like to make a motion, hoping to get a second.
Motion on the what benches?
Let me get there.
Oh, okay.
Benches to be removed on Beach Street.
I'll second it. I've heard it too.
Benches.
That's about last week.
I'm
The
not
one
sure we
by-
can just do one. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about the one by Stavert?
Crest? Oh,
Crest
Stavros
building?
now.
Yes.
Crest building
Okay,
for me.
because
Are we in
I
motion?
was there the other night. I went to have pizza and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
And if you're talking about the one over there, I say
okay.
absolutely.
So I'm thinking then I'd like to amend it to include the crest in front of the Crest building and in front of Stavros.
I second.
I already second.
These are benches?
Yes.
Yes, there are 3 benches on Beach Street, and they're asking for the 2 to be removed.
And the restaurants or businesses are asking the same thing.
Yes. But it's by commission approval.
And are these benches for bus stops?
They are currently in front of bus stops, and there are 3 on the street. And the downtown, is it the DDA board yesterday, or what's the Downtown Redevelopment Board also supported removing the Crest building bus stop, but Commissioner May is looking at others in her zone, and those are 2 out of the 3 public benches that she's being asked you all to vote to remove
And they're
tonight.
being,
Okay,
they're
I don't
being
know if-
used for sleeping.
I don't know if y'all remember, but boy, they had a fit when we removed those benches for the bus stop a few years back. You remember that? And they came in mass about us moving those benches. So I'm kind of thinking
Well, we
we
have
got to
the
be real
businesses.
careful.
The businesses are asking.
Yeah, but those are citizens that are riding those buses trying to go to work.
The citizens are
And
riding the bus.
Should they stand while they're waiting for a bus
Well,
to come?
they actually came and sat down in there because we have people sleeping.
Okay. Well,
We also have handicapped and elderly people that need a place to sit too.
Well, it's a vote.
Okay.
We'll vote and see what happens.
We have to have public comment on.
Okay.
John
Any
Nicholson,
member of the
3
public want to
Grandview
speak on
Avenue.
this?
Come on,
item?
John.
Come on up.
We know you're coming, John.
If you want to speak on this item, since I don't have sheets, if you just come up and stand on the side and we'll call you as you come. You don't need to get that in.
Hi, my name's Jonathan McCurrick. I live at 214 South Grandview, and I'm very happy with some of the things I heard tonight. I wanted to focus for a moment your attention on the notion of dwell, which is the amount of time a person spends in an amusement area. Our job.
I'm sorry,
Wait a
this
minute.
has to be
Wait a
on
minute.
the item that they're talking
I'm
about.
sorry?
Which was,
Yes,
yeah.
you can come back and speak on that.
Sorry?
Right now, we're speaking on whether or not we want to remove these benches.
Oh, so I do have a thing on that.
Okay.
You already have a set of regulations and rules and ordinances that should cover the removal of those people. We should instruct the police officers to go do it.
Okay.
Benches.
The benches.
Okay.
John Nicholson.
John Nicholson?
Okay, yay, John.
Is there anyone else that's going to speak on this item? On removal of the benches on Beach Street? Okay.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. Been there, done that. In the 80s, we removed all the benches from downtown. We had just remodeled downtown. We had the benches, and you can see the circles in the brickwork where the benches used to be. We took them all out. Then we took them off out of the boardwalk. Then we took them out of downtown a second time, and you remember that. This will be the third time we're taking out of benches out of downtown. There's something that Paula said about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I think she said that once or twice, so you may want to think about that. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Are those the concrete benches that we now have at Derbyshire?
No. These are just the regular. I think
I'm
wooden.
saying, are those the ones we removed previously?
Oh, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We removed
They
those
say
too.
yeah.
Anybody else speaking on this particular item?
Do you want to speak, ma'am?
Yeah, I drove by today, but I drove by at 2:30, so there was nobody on them at the time.
No.
Okay, then we're going to close the public speaking.
Morning time, later in the evening time, definitely.
You know, I'm gonna ask that we put this on for the next agenda because I really would like to go talk to the business folks myself.
Okay, yeah, there's a vote out there.
You got a motion out? Okay.
Yes.
Would anybody like to rescind their motion? I'd like to. I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight.
What would you need? What would you need?
I'd like to go talk to the business people myself, and I'd like to hear more from residents on whether or not they'd like to see these benches be moved.
Okay, and so
It's to me, this is a big deal because I remember when it was a very big deal when we had people who were in wheelchair, people who were disabled, and they came in and they complained because we removed benches. So I know you all may not remember these things, but I remember them vividly, and it was really a big deal, and people really. They came in here about it, and they were really upset about it.
I appreciate the fact that you're going to speak to the businesses. I'm happy to give you a list, or we could just see if they are able to come in. But if you go to them, it's probably a lot more efficient for their business time if you go and see them.
Okay, I can do that as well. I'm a teacher on summer break. Would anybody be opposed to that? Does anybody else want to speak to? I know you all have spoken to your people, and I appreciate that, but I too would like to go in and speak. Okay, come on up.
Teresa Warner, 212 Woodland Avenue. I heard they took the benches off the boardwalk, but I didn't believe it. And now you want to take the benches out of here. And it's because of the homeless people are sleeping there? That's not fair to the citizens. You're penalizing citizens because of the homeless. I go to the boardwalk when the tide's too high. There's places I can't even walk because people are afraid in this city. And now I'd walk halfway up the boardwalk. I'm old, I'm fat. I walk halfway. I sit down, I sit there for a little bit with my husband, look at the ocean. Now you took the benches out? Solve the problem. And I don't care how much money it costs. You got $80,000 to send to Jacksonville, another $80,000 to go to the college. The homeless are in here like crazy. Get rid of them. I don't care. Make a law. You're not allowed to sleep on the benches. You're not allowed to sleep on the sidewalk. If you need to make new laws, there's your lawyer. Pay the man whatever it costs. Don't penalize the citizens. This is wrong.
I think we're on the same page. But thank you for your comments. Chief is coming up.
So just one quick thing we were discussing in the back in reference to the benches, and there is another option. Some benches, I believe there's one even on the boardwalk, they have the railings on them so that you can still use them, but it's, you can only sit. You can't lay across the bench.
Okay.
They have the dividers on the bench, and I just want to throw that out there. Me and Dave were in the back just discussing that as a potential option versus just removing the bench. We can install the divider to, have a bench, but you just can't lay.
I
like that.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what I was about to ask. Can we
Okay,
install it on the benches we currently have so we don't have that additional cost to purchase? Okay.
That sounds like a happy medium. Is anybody in favor of that? We can at least try it, right? It'll work until it won't.
Commissioner May, you got to rescind your vote?
Yeah, I'll rescind my vote, but I would like for you to still speak with the business people.
Okay.
Still go and visit them and hear what they're experiencing, please.
I can. I will.
Are you going to make a motion to try this?
I'd like to make a motion that we try the dividers
Okay.
and then rescind my previous motion.
And I'm rescinding my previous second, and I second that.
Okay.
And thank you, Chief, and Mr. Waller back there for thinking it through with us. We appreciate the suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. No. Oh, we're ready for the vote? Oh, we got to vote. Okay. Let me see. Who do we start with the vote?
Commissioner Reed.
Oh, Commissioner Reed.
We have a motion.
Who has a motion? Okay.
I second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a motion from Commissioner May over there, and we have a second from Commissioner Cantu. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Okay. This concludes our CRA meeting. We're going to, we'll reconvene in about 5 minutes. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes.